In the last chapter, we learned all the ways you can report and share data. Now we're going to look at how we can manage vehicle information. Data Monitor is an icon on the home screen. You might remember in an earlier chapter, we talked about using the Vehicle Readiness section as a link to necessary information about the vehicle you are fixing. If there is an active fault found on the vehicle, it will appear in the Vehicle Readiness section. When you click on it, JPRO links you to the Data Monitor, where you will find the specific information about that particular issue. If you click the icon in the home screen, JPRO's Data Monitor feature helps you find a particular data point in the most accurate and efficient way possible. When you first open the feature, it shows you rows and rows of information. But today's vehicles can have upwards of 1,400 data points. No one has time to scroll through all that information to find what they need. That's why JPRO is making your job easier and faster by giving you several options to filter all this data. You can filter the information by selecting a component from the drop-down menu. Or you can sort the information by clicking on the column headings. You can also use the convenient search feature to type in characteristics of the issue you are trying to resolve. Once you've found the information you're looking for, you may want to view all that information at the same time without having to scroll or jump back and forth. Make sure the information is selected. You can select as many items as you want, but you might want to try to keep it to 5 data points or less. Then hit Graph. That data will be displayed on a chart or graph for you to review. With these graphs, keep in mind that you are looking for the presence of data. If you see any of the lines stop, you know that is an event point. If the lines that represent the data points spike up or down, that also indicates an event point you will want to investigate. If you see an event, you can freeze the frame or roll your mouse over that data point. If you are in a playback file, JPRO will also display the time and date for the event. These graphs can also be printed to provide documentation to the vehicle work order. Depending on your preference, whether you like to see a list format, diagrams, or you just want your info fast, JPRO shows you the information the way you want to see the information. The tabs on the Data Monitor show you those same data points visually, like the electrical systems, for example. Or, say you have a vehicle that is overheating. You open the Data Monitor and click open the Temperature tab to get a temperature reading on the vehicle. You can monitor all the pressure gauges on the vehicle at once just by opening the Pressure tab. Percent includes data points like fluid levels, but also accelerator position, engine torque or load, fan speeds. Basically, all the data that can be expressed as a percent. For input monitoring, opening the switches and status indicator tabs could be the less invasive way of diagnosing a vehicle. That means less time, labor, and money spent assembling and disassembling, as well as mitigate damage to the vehicle during the diagnostic process. Under the Switches tab, you'll notice the names of the switches, as well as either a green or red light. Green means that the switch is on and the ECU is receiving input from it. Red means the switch is off and the ECU is not getting any input from it. Let's say you're looking at the cruise control. Once you open up the Data Monitor and Switches, you scroll down and find that cruise control is switched off. Once there, we can toggle the switches. Status indicators tell you much the same information, just in a different format. Using the cruise control example, you can open up the Status Indicators tab in the Data Monitor and scroll down. When you find cruise control, you'll see the options are very similar. Once there, you can toggle the appropriate switch to test their input. Once again, the content between the switches and the Status Indicators tabs is the same. You can choose the method that works best for you. One of the most exciting features of JPRO Professional is the Power Diagrams tab. If you open it up, you'll see a diagram of all the ECMs on the vehicle. You can even click on each ECM to get information on that specific component. Another feature to mention, when scrolling through the diagram of ECUs, you might notice a yellow caution triangle, signifying an inactive fault issue. You can click on the warning symbol to learn more about the problem. If there is a fault related to the issue, JPRO will give you a heads up about that too. There is another way to access this information. Back on the home screen, you can scroll through the table of fault codes. There, you'll find a fault and description with a red magnifying glass next to it. Click on it, and JPRO will take you directly to the diagram on the Data Monitor page. The final tab in the Data Monitor is Data Groups. What is a data group? A data group is a template of values that you establish that you can access consistently and quickly when you connect to a vehicle. For example, let's say you have 100 new trucks coming in. Those new trucks run for about 30 days, and in that time, 20 of them have the same failure. Logically, we can expect the other 80 to have the same issue sometime in the coming days. This means your team of technicians will have the same goal, fixing that particular issue on several individual trucks. Rather than having everyone fix something different in their own way, you can maximize your speed and efficiency by creating a template or data group to solve this specific problem. So, first things first. Select all the data points you need to diagnose that particular problem. Once again, there is no limit to the number of data points you can select. For a better understanding of the problem and a higher success rate, try to select as few data points as possible. Once you've selected all the necessary data, click Add to Data Group. Then you will give your data group a name. Once the problem has been fixed for all the affected trucks, you can remove the data group from the Data Group tab by clicking the Delete Data Group button. JPRO Professional leaves no stone unturned when it comes to making sure all the information you need is at your fingertips. In the Data Monitor, you will also find an icon called FMI Assistance. This opens up an entire dictionary of FMI numbers with a more elaborate and complete description than what is in the home screen. This could be particularly helpful when determining the severity of inactive fault codes. Besides the FMI Assistance button, you will find Fault Status Assistance. Clicking this button opens a window containing extended status descriptions for faults. These descriptions help technicians understand the definition of various fault statuses. For more inexperienced techs, JPRO also provides some tips on using a multimeter set to read voltage. Finally, you will notice a Regen Zone info icon. Clicking this icon opens a window with detailed information about the various regeneration zones. JPRO's Data Monitor brings you all data information from all the vehicle systems, all with a click of a button. Remember, all this information is available in the JPRO User Guide. For more information or to purchase JPRO, please call our support team or visit us online.